because this is review, I'm going to go through some parts of this fairly quickly, okay, because it's review. We did this last semester. So there are two types of variations, direct and inverse. Sometimes inverse is also called indirect. They mean the same thing, okay? But you need to be familiar with the term in case they use it, all right? Okay, so for direct variation, it means that as x increases, y also increases. Or as x decreases, y also decreases. For example, the more hours you work, the more money you earn. More hours, your hours go up, your paycheck goes up. Anybody think of another one? How about the opposite? The fewer hours you work, the less you get paid. Okay, they're both going down. So both of those are examples of inverse variation, of direct variation, I'm sorry. All right, so inverse variation then is as x increases, y decreases. The more miles you drive, the less gas you have in your tank. It could also be vice versa. I'm going to go ahead and write it out, and that is as x decreases, y increases. That way, when it says vice versa, you don't have to think about it. You can just read it. All right. Okay. Both direct and inverse variation have constants of variation, which is called K. Okay. The constant is used, the variable used for it is called K. All right. So for this one, study the table below, determine the type of variation, and tell how you would find the constant of variation. All right, so hours worked is our domain, that's our x. Total pay is our range, that's our y. I can see that the hours worked is going up. So I want to write that on there. So from 5 to 11, I'm going up 6. From 11 to 14, I'm going up 3. From 14 to 17, I'm going up 3. So now when I do each of these, remember that constant variation in this particular case means that it's also our slope. Huh? Yeah, well, this is back in the day, before both of our times. All right, so 30 over 5 gives me 6. Remember, it's the change of y over the change of x. So 30 over 5, that is 6. 66 over 11 is 6. 84 over 14 is 6. 102 over 17 is 6. So my constant rate of change, my constant of variation is 6.
That looks like a 3.
What looks like a 3? Because my x's are going up by 3.
Oh.
Except for this one, from 5 to 11, it went up by 6. Easy breezy? Okay. On the next one. This is the general equation for direct variation. Okay? It's for direct. It's very important that you keep that straight. Okay? So this is your formula for direct. You also have this in the notes from previously. All right? So, if y varies directly as x and y equals 6 when x equals 8, find y when x equals 12. Okay, so I'm going to set my problem up. Because it says it's directly, that's my clue that I can, this part right here, this is my k. So y over x, 6 over 8, that's my k. Okay? Because it's directly, an easier way for me to do this is to write a proportion. So you see the formula right here. If I wanted to change this to a decimal and put it here and solve the proportion, I could. But since it's already in fraction form, that makes it easier for me because all I have to do now is find the cross product. Lena, the notes are on the table. It's 3 pages. Okay, so you remember you cross multiply 6 times 12 and then 8 times y. So I end up with 8y equals 72. Divide both sides by 8 and y equals 9. So there's my answer. Alright. Okay, are we good? So that's direct. Let me see, pull this down so we can see better. No, that didn't help either. Helps a little bit. Okay. All right. We good on this page? Questions on this page? Lena, when we get finished, I'll give you the first page. So just pick up where we are now, please. All right. Next page. Okay. This should look familiar from science.
Should it?
All right. Okay. The force required to stretch a spring, F, varies directly with the amount the spring is stretched. 10 pounds is needed to stretch a spring 8 inches. How many pounds would be needed to stretch the spring 32 inches? Okay, so in this particular situation, are the numbers going up or down? It's going up, right? They're both going to end up going up. First, you need to recognize whether it's direct or inverse variation. Okay, so it's direct. You have to yawn, cover your mouth, do it quietly. All right, so here's our direct variation formula. Bless you. All right, so now I'm going to set it up. It's 10 pounds for every 8 inches. Okay, so remember when we were doing proportions, you needed to match words. So my force right here is being measured in pounds, and my stretch is being measured in inches. You need to make sure that when you set those up that you're matching your words. And then from here, it's 8th grade math. Cross multiply and divide to solve. So 10 times 32 gives you 320. 8 times x gives you 8x. Divide both sides by x. And you get, by 8. And then you're going to get x equals 40.